This is the public participation section of the meeting. Time limits for all speakers are adhered to. There is no sharing or granting of speaking time to others. Speakers must be present when their name is called. All speakers are required to give names and addresses. The public participation portion of the meeting is limited to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Examples of unacceptable behavior that are not permitted include, but are not limited to, naming district employees and engaging in personal attacks, slurs, excessive loudness, calling out, yelling, generally disruptive behavior, attempting to disrupt the meeting, or inciting others to do so. Public participation at board meetings is intended to allow individual members of the public the opportunity to address the board and administration on issues of public concern, not as a forum for two-way dialogue with the board members. The superintendent or designee or chair may respond to questions either at the end of the public participation session, or responses may be provided at a later time. The superintendent, designee, or chair may interrupt any speaker or terminate individual's speaking privilege if the speaker's comments are disruptive or obscene. An individual may be cautioned that a personally directed statement may be slanderous or defaming, and that the individual may be liable for his or her comments. Attempts to hijack or filibuster the proceeding, repeated interrupting or badgering the board chair or district officials, repetitive or truculent speech, or disregard of the rules of decorum are not tolerated and may subject the individual or group to removal from the building. And if necessary, the meeting may be adjourned.
Thank you. Since we have a number of speakers here this evening,
Madam Chair?
Yes, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
May I also add to that our protocol for board meetings, as the General Counsel has indicated, require the proper decorum. If there is disruptions during speaking or during presentations, the person who is yelling out in the audience will receive 2 verbal warnings. After the second verbal warning, the next instance will and may result in removal from the auditorium.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. For those, since we have a number of people, I see new faces this evening, some of whom may be on the public speakers list. Just for clarity, please state your name and address as for the record, and then we need for everyone to just be clear. You have 2 minutes, and then there will be a bell, which is basically a warning that you have 1 additional minute. So you have a total of 3 minutes. So please try to regulate your comments to stay within that 3-minute period, as we have a large number of speakers who are signed up this evening, and then we have other business to take care of after the public meeting. So out of regard and respect for everyone who is here, we must insist that we keep to the time limits. The first speaker for this evening is Jordan Roper. Is Mr. Roper here? Cheyenne Holmes. Jamira Armstrong. Imani Lynn. Quamara Flogger. Alyssa Jones. Alani Jones. Kamani Teal. Tiana Torres. Alexis Matheson. Karen Pierre. Colleen Pierre. Shania Lowe. Saida Williams. Okay, this is the students who were signed up to speak. And we will now move into our adult speakers. First adult speaker this evening, Tina Taylor.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Tina Taylor, and I am president of the City Association of Supervisors and Administrators, better known as CASA. Since this is my first time before this board, I would like to tell you a little bit about my background. I was born in Newark, attended Ann Street School, Eastside High School, and Rutgers, Newark. Upon graduation, I began my career as a math teacher in Newark. Subsequently, I was a guidance counselor, department chairperson, and vice principal at Eastside. I became the principal of Science High School and served for 18 years. I am not here just as a union official, but as an individual committed to the success of the Newark Public Schools. This is my school district, as it is for everyone here. I am here tonight to address the superintendent's insane intention to eliminate the instructional positions of directors, supervisors, and department chairs, or DCs, and implore that it not be implemented. Science Park High School, under my leadership, became the first secondary school in Newark to earn a national blue ribbon awarded by the U.S. Department of Education. I would love to stand here and say it was because of me, but I can't. It was a team effort. However, the DCs played a vital and integral role in earning this honor. They assisted in writing the proposal, gathering the statistics required, interpreting the data, and more importantly, they were instrumental in providing the teaching staff with the tools needed to enhance and enrich student achievement so that we received this award. In order to have a successful school, everyone knows it requires outstanding leadership and excellent teachers. Who is responsible for the day-to-day improvement and training of teachers? In the high schools, it is the DCs who have the primary role in providing mentorship to and oversight of teachers. In the elementary schools, it is the supervisors that supply critical teaching support. The elimination of these positions will have immediate and long-range devastating effects on student achievement. The removal of directors will disrupt the implementation of the state-required Common Core standards. The federal STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics initiative will be compromised. The after-school program, which offers not only academic enrichment, but provides socialization and, above all, provides a secure and safe environment for our students, will be jeopardized. What will happen to youth development programs and summer teen employment? What will happen if we have no school athletic directors who are required by NJSIA to be in existence in order for our teams to compete? College opportunities and scholarships for athletes will be greatly diminished. Early childhood and special needs students will suffer greatly if there are no directors and supervisors to monitor the programs. Career and college readiness programs would become extinct without these positions. We understand that the superintendent recently received a bonus of $41,000. If this is the case, we would like to know what criteria were used to determine the reward. If it was for increased student achievement, then the school leaders and central office instructional staff deserve the bulk of the credit. If it was for fiscal efficiency, they then again deserve credit since they were forced to do more with less. However, perhaps the superintendent was rewarded for employing more New York consultants than properly certified full-time staff. For this, she deserves all the credit. If it was a feeble attempt at union busting, again, the credit is all hers. And if it was for dismantling and destroying the Newark public school system to the detriment of our students, she was grossly underpaid. learned of this only last Friday. I ask you, is not the elimination of over 125 instructional positions and the devastating effect that would have on our students an item worthy of discussion? This totally regards and shows utter disrespect for CASA's members and their professionalism. I understand the advisory board, like CASA, received the information the same way. So you, perhaps the elected representatives of Newark citizens, are equally disrespected. For the sake of the children of Newark and their future, I urge that there be no implementation of the superintendent's stated intention. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Cheryl Skeet, who is speaking for the Newark Teachers Union this evening. Is Ms. Skeet here in the room? Next speaker, Vanessa Roper. Next speaker, Harrison Hogue.
Good afternoon. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Before I begin, I would like to ask Ms. Anderson, do you have an open door policy whereas I don't have to use this as a forum to express the complaint I have? I could meet with your aide somewhere personally before stuff is construed differently.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what
I
you...
was asking the question to Superintendent, Madam Superintendent, whether she has an open door policy where I can discuss these complaints with her in a private time instead of discussing in a forum, public forum like this.
Yeah, you know, okay, if it is something, okay, yes, you do have other options than to discuss anything in the public forum. Ms. Merritt, if you could please raise your hand. Ms. Merritt is sitting right here.
Okay.
If you want to address your concern to her, then you can do that, and she will take that concern to the proper person. Is that satisfactory to what you're asking?
And I'm asking Miss because the issues I have to discuss is serious allegations, and I would like to hear from the super whether regarding it's an open door policy. If it is, then I could wait and I have to, because basically the complaint that was made before, we had a
Mr. Hoke, if I can just interrupt, Madam
Yeah.
Chair, if I may. Mr. Hoke, I've noticed in terms of the subject matter which you've listed, they do have a legality to them.
Yes.
I am the General Counsel and Chief of Staff. I'd be more than happy to make sure that through Ms. Merritt, you have my contact number to personally come and speak with me. I'd be more than happy to talk about this behind closed doors to the degree that there's any indication that we need to take action. I'll ensure that we do so.
Okay, I understand. All right, I'm gonna go forward with part of it, not the part about. I'm just go forward.
Okay, so...
I want to agree to meet with.
yes, no, we just need you to state your name and address for the
Harrison
record.
Hogue.
And then, can we start his time now, not when he first started? Okay.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Matias and whoever in the advisory board that swift action regarding that. We was talking about the inequities in facilities.
Excuse me, could you state, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We just need you to state your name and address for the record.
Harrison Hogue, 34 Zaston Avenue, Newark,
you.
New Jersey.
Thank you.
Okay, and also to Ms. Valerie Miller for providing me with a prompt copies of the documents I requested, meaning the AIP process, the conflict of interest policy, and also she wasn't able to obtain a Kronos policy. Basically about the inequities, I'm gonna skip and get direct to the documentation that was provided to me by administration regarding the protocol for acting foreman within our department. First of all, we was given this document, and it shocks me and I'm confused in the educational institution that has no minimum education requirement for this position. No GED, no high school diploma. And I questioned that during this form of this document, and I was told that no degree is necessary, no high school diploma, no GED, you could just apply. I then requested to find out was any experience necessary, supervisory experience necessary. They said no, if you have supervisory experience, college degree, bachelor's, master's, it doesn't have any impact on it. The second of all, they said that during this process that they was doing some type of evaluations and reviewing the internal candidate and all the stuff that sounds good on paper. But in actuality, in the district and facilities, they do not evaluate building managers, they do not evaluate supervisors, they evaluate employees and tradesmen. I've been working in facilities for over 7 years. I never had an evaluation about attendance, tardiness, getting along with coworkers. I never had that needs to improve or nothing like that. So I'm confused, and I also can understand why management would be carried that way, because it seems like if they don't value education, then it's like incompetence. So they want to surround themselves with people that's not able to articulate and complain about the issue that's going on. And I would just ask Ms. Anderson that you investigate that and take in consideration that when you do that to people and you make it seem like people that have education are like smarties or thinking they know everybody, it's like oppression, a form of oppression. And I don't like feeling that way. I like to feel like that I went to college and sacrificed. I grew up in Newark. I went to this school. I graduated from Arts High School in Newark, and I went on to college. And I'm also a district leader in my community, and I also think that hopefully I could settle this with the council, because this is, like I said, serious allegations about the other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Maureen Robinson.
Good evening. My name is Maureen Robinson.
Good evening.
I have 2 residencies, 428 Doyle Street, Elizabeth, and I've been confined to a dungeon in the basement of University High School, where there are no working toilet facilities for female teachers, no heat and no ventilation unless we keep the doors open. Over the past several years, I have been lamenting to this advisory board and the district about the prevalence of cronyism, racism, discrimination, favoritism, and nepotism in this, a predominantly black school district. A concerned parent who has a son attending the North Star Charter School Academy informed me that there are no African American teachers in that school. I was also informed that the white principal of Eastside High School got rid of all of his tenured African American administrators and a number of tenured teachers and people of color. Although New Jersey is the most racist state in the union, the blatant, overt, and obvious ugliness and prevalence of racism and discrimination, whether by age, race, color, creed, religious affiliation, or gender, should not be an issue in the 21st century, especially in a predominantly black school district or anywhere else in this country that was built on the backs of slaves, black people who were forced from their African habitat centuries ago. Requests for investigations regarding those issues will be made. As a result of a teacher's visitation to West Side High School, the principal and vice principal covertly devised a scheme to target the teacher the next time she entered the building by directing security to contact VP Mr. P the next time she enters the building and use the code, "Your wife is in the building." People have a right to public access to buildings. On the lighter side, advisory board member Marquise Lewis is running for city council in the West Ward. His campaign committee would appreciate your support, and I'd like to support the next mayor of Newark, Mr. Raz Baraka. He needs to stand and wave his hand. Somewhere he's in the building, okay? This too shall pass. Change is on the way. okay? And I will fight until I die for the teachers and students and employees of the Newark School District. I'm 72 years old, but don't let the old age fool you. I marched when Newark was on fire, so I'm not afraid. What you gonna do to me now? Kill me? Beat me? Huh? I've been a slave. It doesn't matter now. I'm gonna fight you until justice and peace comes for the teachers, the employees, and the students, equality for the students in the school district of Newark. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Before I call the next speaker, I would like to request that all speakers please contain your remarks to issues that are related to the Newark Public Schools, to the children of the Newark Public Schools, and to issues of education. We have a limited time that is allowed for public speaking, and I hope that we don't have to use that time up unnecessarily. The next speaker, Lucius Jones.
You need me? You good? Yeah, good. Lucius Jones, 107 Ivy Street, Newark, New Jersey.
Good evening.
Good evening. Madam Chair,
Yes,
through
sir.
the board, you know, we have some major concerns that we have to deal with as a district. You know, sometimes I go home and I watch cable TV and I see the same old episode over and over again. And we've been seeing the same old episode played in the city of Newark over and over again. Governor McGreevey said something. He said, you can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results. And it's time for the people that work in the schools, that live in the community, and the students to do something different to get recognition from this board, not necessarily from this administration and this governor. Because we continue to do the same thing. Some of us happen to get inside this time, and some of us last time was locked outside. But we do the same thing while we watched within this house people come up from the charter school and leave organized at exactly 8 o'clock, enough time to make it home before to eat dinner. What I come to speak to you before tonight, I'm going to get straight to the point. One is the children at Ivy Hill, which she called on the lists, did not make it tonight because I said to them they're a little upset with me, and I'll explain that later. But the point is this. I have a niece that attends Ivy Hill School. She's in the 5th grade. She cries every single day because she only knows her 2 timetables. Every single day. No intervention, no resources. She got an F on her report card first cycle and an F on her report card second cycle. We're a focus school. But what are we focusing on? What are we focusing on? When we talk about a kid that my assistant got called from a meeting with me and went to Westside High School. Kid sitting down, refused to participate with the gangs, sits down to eat his food, and gets kicked in the ribs. Principal walks right by the parent and refuses to talk to her. This is the foolishness that we have to deal with. It's a priority school. We understand why it's a priority school. People in this district need to understand that the district has set aside, has distinguished the class of schools based on reward schools, focus schools, and priority schools. But what does that really mean for kids? That's the bottom line. After all of this experimenting is going on, what does it mean for kids? Our kids are shooting each other, killing each other, They're dying in the streets while we experiment. The real deal here is for the state to push back on the budget. They don't want $1 billion budget, right, Cammie? They don't want $1 billion budget. Your whole purpose is that you have to roll back the budget. We're expecting approximately $100 million, a little less than $100 million deficit this year. When photos got up there and said to the state and everybody else, after telling white folks telling white folks, the district broke. She did all that work just to come up with the same scenario. We're broke. Give us more money. The deal comes down to very simple. Nobody's talking to nobody. Cammie, you may say you're having community meetings, but you know there's a difference between a meeting and an appointment. We get there, you call us at meetings, you be there at the appointment at 3 o'clock and you're gone by 5 after you talk for an hour and 45 minutes. That is wrong. How are we supposed to dialogue with you, my sister, if you do not allow us the opportunity to dialogue? There's some real glitches in this problem. Some real serious glitches that we must address. That's why people keep coming back here year after year, right around the budget time, because she noticed she dealt with the supervisors and all of these cuts. The same time she has to deal with next month, we got to deal with the budget. And they're going to talk about, and nobody's going to be at the budget hearing, when they're going to talk about the real money. Where are we spending all of this money that's coming to this district? On contractors and consultants? I am sick and tired of coming up here talking about how we're going to educate kids. That's the bottom line, Ms. Anderson. We need to get serious about collaborating with all of the stakeholders. And I ask that you sit down and give us ample time to talk about your comprehensive plan instead of shoving it down our throats.
Thank you. Next speaker, Nickerson John Renaud.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mr. Nickerson Jeremiah, address 1028 Linden Street, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, alumni of University High School, South Street School, Oliver Street School, graduate, honorary graduate of William Patterson University of New Jersey. You know, I came here today, I said I could speak about a litany of issues, but I seem to notice that there are many small issues that are overlooked in the Newark Public School District daily. And one of them is the issue of security personnel. At a time when school security is a national tumult, you know, with the Sandy Hook killings, I don't understand why I'm still walking into school buildings and I notice the indecency and the misconduct and the gross, you know, deportment of security guards. You know, way before I was born, in the year 1984, the state stepped in and specifically the New Jersey State Commission of Investigation stepped in. And they said, the Newark Board of Education must do something about its disrespectful security guards. And it must give them formal training. It must remind them that they are guards, not police officers. That they are subject to legal statutes of not only guards in the Newark Public School District, but law enforcement officers. Yes, that's how serious their job is, but yet you require them just to have a high school diploma, a clean record, you know, and maybe a friend in the Newark Public School District, and come get your job and your uniform. Let me tell you, you better stop that nepotism, you better stop that unprofessionalism very now, because it's disrespectful. It's aggravating to walk in a school building and see a security guard chewing gum with their shirt out of their pants. And remind me, excuse me, boo. Huh? You're a boo. I turned to one I told her, I said, excuse me, my name to you alone, even to the principal in this building, is Mr. Nicholson Jerenois. 3 syllables. And I'm going to say to you that I urge the body of this body to look over the state commission's, the New Jersey State Commission's of Investigations report of 1984, where they delineated very detailed recommendations for ensuring that our security personnel are not individuals who step outside of their bounds. Some of them think they're the principal. You know, as soon as you walk in the building, they say, excuse me, with their rude voices. And you know, I ignored some of them. One of them even told me, being very unaware of legal statutes again, Mr. Nicholson, why you're banned? I turned to her, I said, excuse me, as a taxpayer in the state of New Jersey, I can never be banned from a public facility. Furthermore, as a nation builder, your words have no standing to me. All you are to do is to remind me to sign in, show my identification as a Newark Public Schools employee, and have a great day, Mr. Nicholson Jerenois. So I'm saying to you, please, in the future, do take into consideration that there are security guards that exist all over this Newark Public School District who are not obeying protocol. Thank you very much.
Annette Alston.
Annette Alston, President of the Newark Teachers Association, 303 Washington Street, Newark, New Jersey. I'm here to call attention to an insidious lack of respect towards our school nurses and employee unions in general in this district. The Newark Teachers Association is the bargaining unit for our Newark Public School nurses. The nurses' contract ended the same time as the teachers' contract almost 3 years ago. NPS settled their contract with the NTU amidst much fanfare around November. Since that time, in spite of continued efforts from us, the NTA and JEA, a date still has not been set to meet with us. On this Friday, it will be March, and our parents and community need to know that the executive administration of the Newark Public Schools has disregarded the very people that take care of our children's health concerns every day. How many times in the course of a screening have nurses called or sent notes home to parents to inform them of health issues? It could be anything from needing glasses to having lice or chicken pox, or unfortunately much worse. There are hundreds of students in school with asthma or diabetes. There are children that are termed fragile because they can't even enter a school unless a school nurse is present. These are students with tracheotomies, colostomies, or other handicaps. Some of our nurses are assigned to facilities, buildings with multiple fragile students in addition to the hundreds of other students. These are the people, our nurses, that you have chosen to disregard, ignoring their right to sit at the table and to negotiate. How absolutely ashamed you should be. There is no excuse. Not that you even tried to give us one. It can't be that you forgot. I was just here last week before the advisory board meeting, fully expecting from you, and I'm sorry, wow, how could I have overlooked such a thing? Thank you for making us aware. But no phone call, no email, snail mail, no communication at all. And through it all, our nurses do their job, care for the children they serve, even as their bills go up and their paychecks come down. We teach our children to communicate and to respect one another. We teach our children to discuss and talk out their differences. We teach our children to be fair and to display integrity. Why can't Newark Public School employees expect the same ethic from the executives of the Newark Public Schools? We know there's a bigger picture here. The colors you see around you, white, red, black, are a testament to the magnitude of disgust and despair that is felt among your professional staff and employees in general. Today, we all stand united against what I term a tyranny of destruction. Destruction of morale, our learning environments, facilities, our communities, and public education as a whole. Make no mistake, we will not stand by idly and watch our nurses and our administrators and our teachers and our children and our parents' community be disrespected under this oppressive regime called state control. We shall not continue to watch the purposeful, racist, malevolent dismantling of public education while superintendents get $41,000 bonuses. We need integrity. We need transparency from the top, and we need to start by sitting at the bargaining table right away.
Thank you. Next speaker. Next speaker, Denise Long.
Should I start any time?
Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Dr. Denise Long. I'm a school nurse at Rafael Hernandez Elementary School. I live at 21 Ashwood Terrace in West Orange. I'm a certified school nurse for Newark Public Schools, and I've been a nurse here for the last 8 years of a 36-year nursing career. The prior 28 years of nursing service were spent largely doing critical care nursing, while 8 years I spent largely doing psychiatric nursing. In my position as school nurse for Newark Public Schools, I get to use these skills on a daily basis. Rafael Hernandez has over 600 students with approximately 10 classes of special education students. Just this last month, I saw over 1,180 students. Just today, I saw 80 students. I see children who are suicidal and homicidal. There are 2 diabetics in my school. There are over 100 asthmatics. There are students who use walkers and wheelchairs that we assist with toileting daily because of their complex neuromuscular diseases. There are students who are catheterized daily in my office. There have been students that I suction via tracheostomy tubes and given nutrition via tube feedings. I've resuscitated a student. I've often had to call DIFUS to assist families who have had to neglect or mistreat their children. After I do call DIFUS, I still have to work with these same families day in and day out for years. I have built up trust with families over the last 8 years. I have to health screen every child in the building every year. In our transient population, that can be more than 600 screenings every year. My Spanish has improved quite a lot, which is helpful in a school that is primarily Spanish-speaking. Many families are only Spanish-speaking, and they really appreciate my trying to meet them halfway. There are many statistics that I have to track, and I regularly talk with students, physicians, and emergency room personnel to coordinate care. I'm the only medical person in the building. I frequently work as an employee health nurse and also work with injuries to staff. I've called 911 on various occasions to help staff who are in respiratory or cardiopulmonary distress. I do not believe that the job of a school nurse is so inconsequential that we as a group should not have a voice with the board, and we should be allowed to be represented in negotiations to pass a contract. I'm asking you to urge the negotiating teams to meet, to reach a fair settlement as soon as possible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Carla Schultz. Carla Schultz.
Assalamu alaikum. Who cares for our children? Newark Public School nurses do. My name is Carla Schultz, and I live at 121 Oakland Terrace here in Newark. I am a school nurse in the Newark Public Schools and a graduate of this district. Along with my fellow nurses, I hold a bachelor's degree as well as a post-bachelor's certificate in school nursing, which is mandated by New Jersey state law. I am also one of many nurses who holds a Master's of Science in Nursing as well. I speak Spanish daily on my job. While striving to deliver the best possible care at my school, I believe that I have earned the respect of the families, staff, and administration I serve. However, I, along with my fellow nurses, am working without a contract and no raise for 3 years. I stand here in solidarity with other school employees to say that we deserve a respectable contract for ourselves and for the young people coming up who will one day fill our shoes. Our wages, unions, and schools are under attack. We may be in separate unions, but we are here together today to say an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. We are serving our community, but by not negotiating with us, you are exploiting the care we are providing to our children. We nurses give more than Band-Aids. We are often the first healthcare provider many of our students see. We provide emergency medical care for all employees as well, and have the qualifications to perform CPR and defibrillation in order to bring a person back to life. We are trained to understand that many times the physical problems children present with are symptoms of deeper emotional problems. I have personally seen students who were complaining of stomach aches and headaches, only to notice on their arms and hands marks that turned out to be scars of self-mutilation. Children are often brought to us with other wounds that upon questioning lead us to make referrals to DIFUS. But saving lives is not all we do. We save our schools thousands of dollars from fines by tracking students' immunizations. We are caring for students with multiple medical conditions that are being brought back into the district to save money. Last year, my colleague and I cared for over 18,000 students in our One Health office alone over the course of that year. That means we average over 1,000 student visits per month in our one office. From first aid and mental health to preventing lice and flu outbreaks, we believe we provide services that the schools cannot afford to operate without. The heart of the matter is, how valuable are we to you? NPS nurses deserve a fair contract now.
Thank you. Carol Wisniewski.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name is Carol Wisniewski. I live at 2244 Morrison Avenue, Union, New Jersey. I did not grow up in Newark, but I grew up around Newark, and I'm here for the fight. I'm an itinerant nurse for Newark Public Schools, and I've worked here since 2007. I bring a wealth of knowledge from all my other careers. I've done med-surg, psych, also case management for insurance companies. and I bring this knowledge to all that I care for. I'd just like to share a story of one of the students I took care of when I worked in a high school. I do travel around to different high schools. I've worked at East Side, West Side, all around this town. This young lady, I seen in passing, but you know, Band-Aid, maybe a sanitary pad. She presented one day very kind of lethargic. I would almost say she looked like she was on drugs. But I couldn't say that she was on drugs because I knew this child, and in my heart, I knew there wasn't anything really wrong with her. I acted as an advocate through my case management experience and contacted her mother and stressed the need for her to have medical care. She did receive the medical care that she needed, and we discovered that she was a diabetic 2 weeks later. We are on the front line for these kids. And looking back, I could see that she had some of the predispositions to having diabetes. She was overweight, and then I found out half her family members, the adult family members, were diabetic. As school nurses, we discover this all the time. One of my previous coworkers said she diagnosed 2 previous diabetics in her career. And she was a short career here at Newark Public Schools for 10 years. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Keisha Owens. Keisha Owens. 10-4 Evans. Yvonne Malone. Taryn Hawkins. Mustafa Abdul Salam.
Teron Hawkins.
Okay, Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Okay.
177 Hillside Avenue, Newark, New Jersey.
Good evening.
When I first came up here, it would be to speak about the state of the school, but apparently the school, Belmont Ryan, is not up for closing, so I don't need to speak about that. Well, as of today, we didn't hear that, but as me sitting in the crowd and listening to this whole ordeal, it just seemed like you guys are setting these kids up for failure. Because when I went to school, from K through 8th, we had stuff like home economics, wood shop, stuff like that, so we can figure out what we wanted to do with our life. These kids nowadays don't have that. But yet, you putting up an internet for them to go apply to these different high schools, and some of these kids don't even know what goes on at these high schools. So they're at a disadvantage. They don't know what they're getting into, they don't know what's out there for them, and they're not being taught at a young age what they should do with themselves in life. A lot of these kids come from broken homes. Some only have mothers, some only have fathers, but they do have somebody there. But when you got kids growing up in the community where they don't see doctors every day, they don't see lawyers every day, they see teachers that come to school to teach them, but how can they when they're not getting support at home, and then you go to school and you got to listen to a kid that's not getting any attention at home come in and disrupt the class so a teacher can't teach. And then y'all want to put up the statistics and say, yo, these kids ain't learning. But Belmont Ryan just went to 8th grade this year. My daughter's in 8th grade. And I ask her every day, what do you want to be when you grow up? As a concerned parent, I want to know what she thinks. I want to know how she feels. I ask her about her education. And coming from, I lived in Patterson, I moved to Newark. The school district in Newark is way better than Patterson, I can definitely say that. Because they learn a lot more here than they did over there. So evidently something's going right in school when things are going right at home. But we need to input home economics, wood shop, and all that other stuff. So when they come time for them to choose a high school, they can choose one that best fits them. You can't put somebody into a situation they've never been in. Bar High School is a great high school. I wish they had that back when we was going to school. It prepares these kids for college. If you want to go to college, that's the high school for you. But it's all different things, and I just think as a board, y'all need to look at other things and stop looking at these numbers and taking away stuff that's important to these kids because y'all killing the community.
Thank you. Ms. Evans, I did receive your note. We're going to put you at the end. We're going to put you in the last speaker. Okay. Mustafa Abdul Salam. I hope Kimya Bowler. Antoinette Kaya. Sean Williamson. Renata Ford. I'm sorry, sir, you are. Mr. Williamson?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sean Williamson, 56 South 14th Street, Newark, New Jersey. I have a lot of things to address the board today. But after listening to the stuff that's been going on here tonight, my whole curriculum is something totally different. It's about these students. It's about the safety of these kids. And it seems like tonight, when I first came in here, y'all sit up there and y'all vote on rules and changes, which we have no knowledge of. Why we don't have the same thing that you have, and we supposed to be working together for the safety of our kids. This is our community. This is something that y'all remember as youths when y'all grew up, what y'all wanted to be, where y'all at right now. Y'all are robbing our kids of that same thing. Why is it that 13th Avenue has no new school books? My daughter comes home, 6 different subjects, asking me for help. Certain subjects are problems, I have no clue what they're talking about. So when we was growing up, we opened up a book and read how to do things. Teach our young ones. I never got a reply from nobody sitting up there about peer-on-peer tutoring, how to pick up the grades in these public schools. Y'all want to close the public schools like charter schools are the thing today. We never heard of a charter school when we were growing up. These nurses, just like they say, they take their work home with them. What do y'all do when y'all go home? Because I don't understand why I haven't seen a change in the 18 months I've been here. Nobody is not communicating with anybody, and we're supposed to be a unit. That's the reason why the state is taking over our school systems. When are we going to get it back? It's supposed to belong to us, the public. When are we going to get it back? I march. I call television stations. I ask congressmen. I go to every meeting now because I have 2 young daughters going in these public schools. I have a son that has to go to a West Orange school because there wasn't qualified special education teachers in this city. I have to send my son to another city. But y'all talk about school buses and trips. What about school books? What about the security that sits around and let these kids with attitude problems, and then they still in the same classes as my daughter, and she can't concentrate on her classroom studies? She tells me this day in and day out. When is this going to change? 18 months, and I've seen nothing. Nothing. I am an angry parent right now, and y'all can't sit up there and say, oh, we can't be, don't speak this way, don't talk that way. If y'all come to us and talk to us and show us what y'all sitting up there reading every day, we wouldn't have to talk the way we talk. And I don't care about that bell, because my mouth is loud enough for everybody to hear what I got to say. 18 months and I heard nothing. When is this going to end? Do I have to keep marching the streets until this stuff ends? When is my daughter going to get a school book? The school year is almost over.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, Renata Ford. Wilhelmina Holder. Lyndon Brown. Ms. Holder's here? Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Holder?
So she should speak before everybody else. She should be before 39 at least.
Sorry. Good evening to the board. Wilhelmina Holder, 204 Eastern Parkway, Newark, New Jersey.
Good evening.
I just want to say, first of all, Madam Chair, I just really think it's a bad policy not to have the students speak. That representative, that student rep is a senior. This is his last year to really impact and to share with us. And I just think there should be exceptions made at every board meeting for his voice to be heard, irrespective of policy. Because if you're talking about respecting our children, then I want to know, who does this board represent? Never silence the voice of our children. Please, no matter what you do. Because I would have given him, if he wants to come down, he can speak from right now and take my spot, because he deserves that. He doesn't deserve a private conversation. He deserves a voice to be heard and shared, because there might be something we can do to interact and to help him. He's one of us. He looks like me. He looks like my son that I never had. I have 3 beautiful girls. I hope they're not here, oh my God. But I'm here to talk about the school reform as well, and I think we need to really, before you vote on any other kind of reform, before this train moves further down the track, we need to talk about the reform that has not occurred at 13th Avenue and the other renewed schools. There's 8 circles that the superintendent represented was supposed to happen when the reform schools opened, did not. They didn't happen in the Sterling Learning. They didn't happen in after-school program. They didn't happen in technology, nor highly qualified educators. At 13th Avenue alone, we have more than 13, I think 16 substitute teachers on a daily basis in a renewed school. And some schools, we don't have the smart boards as promised, the iPad, iPods, whatever. We don't have Wi-Fi. And the computers are not, the schools are not wired. At Cleveland, we have holes in the roof. I mean, there's a facility issue there. So we need to really talk about where we are and share that with the community. We know, and share it with the board. There are no secrets here. These are our children, our schools, and we do need support. To think that, I was surprised. I just couldn't believe what I heard, and I saw the memo on Friday that all of these people were going to be let go for reasons of economy. Then why are we running the school system? Why don't the rest of y'all get out of town and then allow us to run our school? I think the community needs to counter-propose and write our proposal as to what we want to happen for our children. Because, young man, I did look at that 1984 compliance report, and he's absolutely right. I read it page for page. And I tell you something, some of these same issues are still here. And now we have someone that really doesn't believe in public education. So how do we really expect change to occur? I think we must take the onus back. We must take the ownership of our schools back. We must write the plans for reform. We have to be involved. We're not asking, we must do this. We must stop begging Cammie Anderson. She's one person, she's not God. All right, so we need to come together. There's collective wisdom in this auditorium. There's collective truths that can be told and shared with our youngsters, the student board representative. And we need to write our own plan. We are not beggars. It is 2013, not 1619, when 19 slaves came to these shores against their will. We have power, we have intellect, we have collective resources. So if the board won't work with us, let's work without them.
Thank you, Ms. Holder. Lyndon Brown. Is Lyndon Brown here?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Lyndon Brown, 220 South 6th Street, Newark. On February 15th, I was fortunate to visit 15 schools for Parent-Teacher Conference Day. I had the opportunity to engage many families and hear their concerns. Some were very elated with this child's report cards, but there were some issues with some other parents who said that the teachers informed them that Power School was not working properly. The teachers told the parents that they input an A and an F came out on the report card, and that sort of thing has been going on for the past several years since we implemented Power School in Newark Public Schools. So we want to look at Power School and make sure that it's revamped. I don't want parents knocking their kids upside the head for grades that they didn't honestly get. We want to talk about the fact that we need more professional development for some teachers so that when they are inputting in Power School that they're doing it properly. Other complaints that I received were some of the high school parents talked about the lack of guidance support for their students as far as college admissions, financial aid, and that sort of thing. So we need a director of guidance in Newark Public Schools as soon as possible. I want to commend the district on a wonderful winter edition of your newsletter. It was very informative. It included information on advisory board meeting dates, report card and progress dates, core curriculum content standards, services for displaced families, and school and student goals for K-8 and high school students. So the newsletter was very informative, but I'm also asking that you include in the next issue CPAC meeting dates, second Thursday or whenever they may be, because a lot of our parents who are special needs parents are not aware of the CPAC meetings that are held by the district. I want to thank Mr. Holmes for making the Marion Bolden Center available for Monday night for our citywide Hesper Prep Night for our high school juniors and seniors in the district. I also want to thank Tia Morris for the donation of materials that she's going to be giving us for our citywide college fair on next Wednesday at the Springfield Branch Library. I also want to have us look very closely at the extended learning days in some of our schools. A lot of the extended learning times are not being utilized wisely, and particularly Newton Street and others, where they spend the entire hour for snack. And I want to talk about the fact that the renewed schools really need more support services and interventions for our students. We have a lot of behavioral problems in our middle schools, and a lot of our students need to be at Samuel Berliner or some alternative middle school. So we want to make sure that if you do close that school, that you do have an alternative site for students who are problematic and disturbing some of the students who are trying to learn in this district. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Janice Reedus. Janice Reedus. Stephen Outing.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Stephen L. Outing. I live at 241 Jefferson Street, City of Newark. I'm here representing the National Action Network Newark, and I'm very concerned with them. I was here to discuss the issue concerning our support for the Muslim holiday, and I'm very pleased with that, and I'm glad that the district is adopting that policy. And I just want to say that the nurses in our community, thank you, the nurses are the first responders for our children. Madam Superintendent, it's very imperative that you work with the nurses and show them support in this district. I see a lot of fear, I see a lot of mistrust, I see a lot of envy, I see a lot of hatred, and I'm talking about staff. I'm talking about teachers, I'm talking about administrators, I'm talking about supervisors, I'm talking about the people who govern our children every day, who have families and pay taxes. And I really hope you let the governor know that these are the people who pay taxes in the state of New Jersey. I just want to say to all the union members and all the folks out here advocating for your job that I'm very concerned about it, you guys, and I will be giving a full report to the Reverend Al Sharpton and Dr. David Jefferson, who is the president of the Newark chapter. And I really hope you all come out to 149 Springfield Avenue and meet with us so we can deal with these issues, because you are a part of our community, you are a part of our village, and we all are family in the body of Christ. Madam Superintendent, I got a call today from one of the chairpersons at American History High, which is a magnet school, and she told me that she was being let go in the middle of the year. If these issues, why didn't we deal with these concerns in the beginning of the school year? Why would you wait to the middle, almost the end of the year, we in February, a couple of more months to June, to let these folks know that they might not have a job? Now, how can these people who govern our children teach our children without stress? Stress is the #1 killer in America. Why are the educators in the state of New Jersey considered, I want you to hear me now, to be an enemy of the state? Why is there an attack on educators? These are the people that's going to grow our democracy. These are the people who are leading our children. And I just want you to know out here, the educators, the decision may be made in the boardroom, but the universal God will have the final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Suhaila Latif.
Good evening. My name is Suhaila Latif. My address is 243 Roseville Ave. And I would just like to say that I know that all the other religions get to have their holiday, and I was just going to ask if we could have our holiday, the Eid, because I really enjoy the Eid, but then I noticed that I have to miss school, and I thought that it would be fair that since they get to have their religion, their holidays, we could too. And I think that it would be very kind of you if you could do that for us.
Thank you, Suhaila. You are a very gifted speaker. Thank you very much. Next speaker, Mustafa Abdul Salam. Did I call it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I skipped a page. I'm sorry. Our next speaker, Rahaya Haig. Next speaker, Bashir Abdul Ali. Aisha Tune. Aljathaya Cannon.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to Ms. Anderson, to the advisory board, and to all in attendance. My name is Aljathaya Cannon. I reside at 61 Stengel Avenue in Newark. I'm a social worker at Alexander Street School, and I'm here to represent all of the Muslim employees here for Newark Public Schools. First, on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to thank the advisory board for supporting the Muslim community by voting on the resolution to incorporate the Eid holidays into the school calendar. Not only does this vote mark a page in the history books for the city of Newark, the Board of Education, and the Muslim community at large, but it also speaks to the respect, fairness, and recognition that Muslims want and deserve in the city of Newark. This vote also places a monumental value on the Islamic contributions that Muslims have made in the city of Newark and to our students, parents, and families. But more importantly, this vote demonstrates that the district finally recognizes Islam as a valid religion, as it is practiced by millions of people all over the world, but particularly hundreds of students and employees here in the Newark Public Schools. We ask that when the time comes to sit down with the various bargaining units, that we are well represented and that they are reminded that historically, Muslim employees have had to take a personal day or a sick day in order to celebrate our two holidays, and that is not fair. At last week's meeting, we spoke about the pursuit of happiness and inalienable rights. The Muslim employees, we feel that it is our right to be able to celebrate our holidays without having to utilize our hard-earned time, especially when we pay dues to our respective unions. Lastly, we would like to say that we appreciate your support and we ask that you continue to work with us toward achieving our goals. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum.
You're welcome. Next speaker, Rashan Hassan. Excuse me, just a minute. I'm sorry, I did.
Did you skip someone?
Yes, I did. I'll go back. You can go ahead and speak, and then we'll go back.
Rashan K. Hassan, 75 Shanley Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, South Ward, District 16. Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the members of the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board for assisting in the cause of the Muslim community, the cause that we've brought forth, which is to ask for fairness and equality amongst members of the Islamic community. As I stand before you, I see that the Newark Public Schools District is for developing intellect, responsibility, character, and spirit. So I ask you, what about the spirit of the Muslim? It's been brought forward to the advisory board in other instances where we have asked to ensure that our children and also employees of the Newark Public School District are given the opportunity to celebrate the Eid holidays. This debate and this argument has taken place in various cities throughout the nation, and the argument has been made in some districts that we can't support that because the Muslims are in the minority. But data shows that in the state of New Jersey, 4% of the United States Muslim population resides here in the state of New Jersey, and in the city of Newark, the Muslim population accounts for roughly 32 to 36% of the Newark residents. So when I look at that data, I say to you all, we are the majority. And with that, our voice needs to be heard. And I think that it's very sad that our district hadn't come to this point sooner and made a data-driven decision. And by that, I mean looked at the days in which the Eid celebration has fallen on and looked at those days to see how the absence rate rises for teachers and for students, and to look at that and see what kind of impact it has on the district to not allow us to have that as a holiday and to be recognized here within the school district. My next point, the fact that we are currently getting rid of critical positions that are needed for the development of our children truly speaks to the overall goal and agenda of some individuals. And that goal and agenda is to dismantle this school district and to continue to keep our people in a state of oppression. If you control the mind and you control the education of a people, you will in fact be able to keep those people oppressed. So when we talk about getting rid of positions such as directors, administrators, and supervisors, the next question is, what do we do to replace those individuals to keep those programs going? You don't have to answer it, I'll answer it for you. We're gonna hire contractors. Now the problem with hiring these contractors is that none of these contractors or consultants look like me, her, him, her. We have a school district that funnels through roughly $1 billion, yet we say we don't have enough money to educate our children. Yet we don't put pressure on the contractors or the individuals who are consultants and make sure that they actually hire individuals in this city so that we can address the most important socioeconomic issue that we fail to talk about, and that's poverty. How do we expect our parents to go home and do the things that they need to do with their children when they're trying to juggle 2 and 3 jobs just to make sure that the lights stay on? So we continue to bring forward these plans, yet we also continue to ignore those key social and economic issues. 1, poverty. 2, respect. And 3rd, and most importantly, is fairness and equality within the Newark Public Schools District.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. Next speaker, Haroon Abdul Qadir. Next speaker, Imam Kareem Mohammed. Next speaker.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. The lighting is really bad. I
Yeah,
apologize.
thank you. No problem. Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. With God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, to the Muslims community, brother and sister, peace, assalamu alaikum, and good evening to my other brothers and sisters. I want to first thank the Newark Public School Advisory Board for this opportunity to address you for these few minutes. I am Imam Abdul Kareem Muhammad of Mashyal Haq in Newark, New Jersey. And also I wanted to give recognition to Sister Wafifa Muhammad, who worked so hard to coordinate this project. I want to say to the advisory board to just give you some enlightenment that our African heritage is Islamic heritage. I say that to say so that we would understand that most of the slaves that were brought here to this country were Muslims. So we are not just some fly-by-night group. We have been here since the establishment of this country. There are billions of Muslims throughout the world. Matter of fact, the Almanac say 1 out of every 4 person in the world is Muslim. And we are of the Abrahamic faith. That's important that we understand. Abrahamic faith means that we are a major religious faith with the Christians, the Jews, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Also, we would like for the advisory board to understand that the sacred days for Muslims are Jummah, Ramadan, and the 2 Eids. The Eid al-Fitr is connected with the fast of Ramadan, where we fast 29 or 30 days. And the Eid al-Adha is connected with the pilgrimage and the Hajj. So these are 2 sacred holidays for us. We would like for the advisory board to respect our sacred holidays. And I will ask you this question. If you were in our position as Muslim, as a community, what would you do? How would you feel if your religious sacred holidays are not respected or acknowledged or recognized? We would like for the advisory board to respect our civil, human, and constitutional rights, that we are citizens of this great country, this great nation, and we serve in public life, and I'm very, very proud of it, in education, in military, in government, in every aspect of society. And we would like for our holiday to be respected as Hanukkah, as Easter, as Christmas is respected. We are Muslim, we are taxpayers, and we only ask for justice. So we thank you, and I want to just close with this here. I must say this here, that I don't understand why, if we cannot get our holidays recognized, when the governor of this state hosts the Eid every year, and also our president, Barack Obama, and the presidents before recognized the Eid celebration in the White House. If we cannot recognize the Eid, something is wrong. Thank you, Advisory Board. May God bless you, and I hope you make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you. David Smith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm hearing so much tonight about education, but I'm sitting here to represent my approval for the Eid. About 20 years ago, I went to my aunt Wafia Muhammad's house. My mother dropped us off. My first exposure to Islam was I saw the Arabic writing in the Quran. It amazed me, and I wanted to write that down and hold that. The Eid doesn't just represent a celebration for fasting the months prior to, during the month of Ramadan, but it represents education, what I'm hearing in here now. It represents community. And in light of the Muslims, the Islamic religion being embraced at a fast pace, is no doubt in my mind that at some point we may have a whole state celebrating Eid. It would be in the board's best interest, I would say, and our nation's interest to pass this our holiday and recognize it, you know. It's not gonna stop here. It's gonna continue with our children, because prior to the Eid, there's what is called Ramadan, where there's a heavy emphasis on education, a connection to our Lord, and being obedient to our parents and the elders in our community. And although children, teenagers, we have issues, they go through problems and things of that sort, our elders in our Islamic community are teaching and educating without coming to this type of forum. I want to thank my aunt for exposing me to this religion, and it was at an Eid that I celebrated what she was about, as I yet haven't accepted Islam. The different communities, the different masjids that I attend to in Essex County, I go to a class whenever they hold educational seminars, from Roseville Avenue to Masjid Rahma to 4th Avenue, to the different masjids of Chancellor Avenue. I go to these places, and it shows that education is the key. And our elders and those responsible that have knowledge in these communities are not only just giving emphasis on the Eids, but they're giving emphasis on education. So when I sit here and I hear about the crimes and the horrors that goes on in these schools, it's like, accept Islam and see what type of change would happen, not going towards the Eid, but on a daily basis. The Muslims in this Islamic community are making changes. They're making progress. You can see that in the building structures in our communities on Roseville Avenue, in different places on 4th Avenue. But the Islamic community, we not only would like this, but at some point, I don't think that the board, and I don't know what denomination of religion you guys are, but at some point, if not in my lifetime, but my daughter's lifetime, that it may be all Muslims up there at one point due to the spread of Islam. Thank you.
Thank you. Halima Muwakil.
Great evening to everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Halima Muwakil. I reside at 408 Village Drive, Avenel, New Jersey. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'd like to greet my brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be unto you. To Madam Chair and Superintendent Cammie Anderson and the advisory board, we want to thank you for even considering the resolution for voting for our holidays. I humbly come before you. I also plead with you to be considerate and please put our Muslim holidays on the calendar. Eid al-Adha is our best holiday, and Eid al-Fitr is for the fasting, which you previously heard. We are simply asking for equality. Isn't this what we are supposed to be about? We live in a community that's surrounded by all part of what makes our school a diverse school. We are asking you to put yourselves in our place for once and see how you would feel having to take your children out of school and having them to miss out on important schoolwork. It's not easy. We are asking you to feel our hearts on this. Put your heart into this, and you will vote to put the Muslim holidays on the school calendar. I leave you with this. You will never live until you learn to give. I thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be unto you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Imam Daoud Haig.
Madam Chairman.
Good evening.
And to my brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And may the peace and guidance of Allah be with all of you. There are events in the socio-religious calendar of all religions. And it usually represents the triumph of the human spirit in the service of Almighty God. These are the religious holidays. And in every religion, and every person subscribing to a religion look forward to these events because they serve as high points in their lives. And so in a diverse, cosmopolitan society such as ours, especially in Newark, everyone has the opportunity to celebrate these occasions. It is, however, unfortunate that all this time has passed and the Muslim community, which constitute a very significant percentage of the Newark population, with Muslims involved in every aspect of civic life, that we were not afforded the opportunity to have this celebrated as one of the calendar events for our students. And we have to always, as Imam, my name is Dawood Haq, I'm the Imam of the National Islamic Association Masjid right here on Roosevelt Ave. If you drive down Roosevelt Ave at 243, 239, 243, you will see the new building going up there. And we have a great number of our school students who every year you have to give them a letter to the school that they miss school. I have to write a letter for them. And I wonder, why is this? And I do appeal to the board that you would see it fit, as is all right, to help us to celebrate this and our kids, as my granddaughter spoke, that you will hear her and let her celebrate without having to miss school. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson, what you are saying is very important, and I am sure that Ms. Anderson will take the time to talk to you about it. But the yelling out is what's out of order, Ms. Jackson. Thank you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, basically, we allow an hour and a half for public speaking. We are at that hour and a half. However, we can extend approximately another 15 minutes at the prerogative of the chair. I do not take anyone's name off the list. I'm not asking or requesting that anyone whose name is on the list not speak. However, in the interest of approximately 20, a little bit over 20 people whose names still remain on the list, if there's anyone whose name is on the list who does not have a burning desire to speak, who could forego that, it would be appreciated probably by some of the people who are near the end of the list and who may not get to speak as the time goes on, especially because we have other business to attend to this evening. So that being said, I will go ahead and go through the list, and as we are obligated though to keep an eye on the time. Number 49, Wafia Mohammed.
Wafia Muhammad, 273 Parsonage Road, Edison, New Jersey. Greetings of peace. In light of the time frame, I will only say, I will not read what I came to read. However, I would like to thank Madam Chairperson Baskerville Richardson for her leadership and the professionalism in which she has displayed throughout this process thus far. Newark Public Schools Advisory Board is blessed to have you at the helm. On behalf of the Muslim community, we thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Yasmin Mohammed. Next speaker, is she smiling? Okay, next speaker, Muadith Khan. Next speaker, Mustafa Al-Mutazim.
Can you please repeat the last name before Mustafa? Or spell it, please?
Okay, I will tell you, I'm sorry, I just called two names. I called, and I'm just, some of this pronouncing phonetically based on the way I have it.
Okay.
Muadith Khan.
Is that M-U-A-D-H?
Yes.
Okay, I am Muad Khan. I will say my address is 40 Rector Street, Newark, New Jersey. I see a smile from a very lovely face that knows that address very well in the audience in front of me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to my Muslim brothers and sisters, to my other community members. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you. I did not come with a prepared speech today. I've been spending 2 weeks trying to figure out a prepared speech, but I never got the idea. However, I will say that I was digging in my closet a couple hours ago before I came here. I'm a Newark Public Schools graduate from the class of 2006. On this t-shirt that was given to all of our graduates from that school year, it says, which you may not be able to see from up there, "We are the reason a new era begins." To my fellow graduates of the Newark Public Schools, especially of the past decade, I ask you, where have you been? I ask everyone in this city, especially the Muslim community, where have you been? I'm a regular face at these meetings. I've been absent for a few months because of school, so this is a special meeting for me to come out to. However, I am known to many of the faces in this room who are regulars here. Where have you been? To my Muslim brothers and sisters, I'm calling you out once again because although we are here, and myself, especially on that sheet that I had to fill out to be able to speak, it says that my topic is on the Eid. I will say briefly that yes, as a public schools graduate of the city of Newark and a proud graduate of Science High School, unfortunately, I was not afforded the opportunity to enjoy the Eid when it came around because on my mind was, oh, I just missed 2 tests. I have a chemistry lab that I cannot complete because today I can't get my results, and we started it on Monday. And once you mess up on getting the results, you can't continue to the next part. That is a reality of the situation that we face when we say that, yeah, we would like to enjoy our holiday as it was, not have to worry about what comes next. However, the more important pressing issues are the schools being closed, the segregation and division of our district, losing our nurses. And I will tell you as an EMT, active duty, if you think that you don't have enough nurses, I will tell you there are far fewer ambulances that are available in this city on a regular basis during a shift. I am not allowed to let you know how many they are, but I will say that it's far fewer than you think. There are way more police and firefighters in this city than there are EMTs. And you know that if you call 911, if you ask for an ambulance, the police and the fire department will get there first. So my question again to my Muslim brothers and sisters is, where have you been? We need you. My community members that are behind me, they've said to me, please call out on your Muslim community. And I will raise my voice so that you can hear me. Please come out. And this is not to the Muslim brothers and sisters alone. Please come out.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you for your comments. And just for future reference, your comments must be addressed to the board, not to the audience. Thank you.
I already know that. And it also addresses you too, because you are a part of this community. Above you on that logo says working together. Where is the working together? Students, teachers, parents, community, but unfortunately they forgot to include administration because you do not work
We do hear you, but your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker, Mustafa Al-Mutazim. Anya Harris. Yusuf Sultan Mohammed.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to take time to say that, right quickly, that the people that came from Europe came to New York, and the people that came to New York was the York family, and they set up New York. And some of the people from the York family got dissatisfied with what was going on in New York, and they came to this town, which is called the Newark. And they came to this town spiritually to set up this town. So basically, this town is a spiritual town. And you named the school Malcolm Shabazz, which was beautiful. I knew Malcolm personally. One time we was in Chicago, and Malcolm came up to us, and he said, I know where you brothers are from. And we said, where are we from, Malcolm? He said, you brothers are from Newark, New Jersey. And I said, Malcolm, how do you know that we was from Newark, New Jersey? He said, something special about you brothers from Newark, New Jersey. And I want to say to the advisory board that in the state of New Jersey, I think they have over 20 different counties that the Muslim Eid is on the calendar. And I want to say to the advisory board that Newark is the biggest Muslim community in New Jersey. And I'm asking the advisory board to make spiritual decision in putting the Muslim calendar, putting the Muslim Eid on the calendar, and I really appreciate if you would do that morally. Thank you very much, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Tanaya Clark.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Melton.
Good evening.
My address is 23 Seabury Street, Newark, New Jersey. I am here on behalf of Roseville Avenue School. That's all of them back there. I'll be brief because I know that the time is far spent, but I am here to implore you, please don't close our school. I know that Roseville Avenue is a small school, but as a parent, I feel comfortable with my child being at Roseville Avenue. I feel safe and secure because I know that when she goes there in the morning, Miss Anthony won't let anybody in or out unless she knows who they are. I understood that the criteria for closing the school was excellence, and we heard about the 3-year trends, and I was wondering why we weren't given the opportunity to save our school 3 years ago when the test scores went down. I also noticed that between last year and this year, support services were almost gone in the school. So, I wonder if it really was based on excellence, and if it is, why would you take my child from a Tier 2 school to give me a choice to send her to a Tier 4 or a Tier 5 school? If you're giving parents a choice, then give us a choice to upgrade, not downgrade. I heard over the course of this evening talking about children transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade and going to specialized schools or the magnet schools, what have you. My question is, as educators, why aren't we aware that if we don't give our children a solid foundation, by the time they get to high school, they will fail? Secondly, we talked about the enrollment and how it declined over 3 years. But Roseville Avenue has been putting out there that we want to expand our school to 5th grade. However, that has not been acknowledged. Thirdly, and I know that I'm almost out of time, yes, the school is 128 years old. But one thing I know, I used to live in a house that was over 100 years old, and one thing I know is that if you maintain buildings, if you maintain places, then they are not going to fall. Finally, and I'm going to end it here, if you close a school, what can we do except fight for it? But if you close a school, then the option should not be to put a charter school in the building that Roseville Avenue School sits therein. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Karina Scott. Katrina Scott. T. Keaton. Tanya Harrow. Jalissa Vasquez. Cheryl Ann Amendola.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Ann Amendola, 316 Gettysburg Way, Lincoln Park, New Jersey.
Good evening.
I come as a friend of Roseville School. What are the characteristics of successful schools? I think we can all agree that they are developmentally responsive, challenging, empowering, equitable, have educators who value children, are prepared to teach them, have active, purposeful learning, have a challenging curriculum. Teachers take multiple learning approaches. They have a shared vision, committed, courageous, and collaborative leaders. They have organization for purposeful learning and meaningful relationships. They have a safe, inviting, inclusive, and supportive environment, and they have adult guidance and advocacy. After observing the teachers and students at Roseville Avenue School for the first time 2 years ago, I saw evidence of every attribute of successful schools that I just listed. I've had the opportunity to visit Roseville several times, and each time I visit, I bring middle-level students to observe and help smaller children. The hope is that my students will assist the Roseville students with basic skills like gripping a pencil, writing a sentence, or learning how to observe during a science experiment. However, what the Roseville community teaches me and my students goes far beyond anything that we could ever bring them. From the moment you walk into Roseville Avenue School, you can understand why students who attend the school love to go to school in the morning. Students, parents, and visitors are warmly greeted at the door, not only by smiling faces, but by signs that list what the extra programming the school is planning for the children is, and by student work that is hung proudly on every available wall space. The school offers a challenging curriculum with teachers who value the children and are very prepared to teach them. Students are actively engaged in their learning, from reading to science to math. The teachers pass on to students not only knowledge, but passion. If you go to Roseville, you will see a school at full capacity, and I don't only mean enrollment. The students are working at their full capacity at all times with constant pushes from their teachers. The expectations are high, and the children meet and exceed them. And when they don't, their teachers don't give up. They find new ways to help the students learn and persevere. The teachers of Roseville are committed to their students, which in turn makes the students committed to their learning with the principal at the helm. Roseville sets students up to succeed. Rather than closing Roseville's doors, Roseville should be used as a model school for the rest of the district. Roseville has had several years of passing test scores. The Newark Public Schools classified Roseville as a Tier 2 school in the district for a reason. In a document you published in 2012, the Great Expectations Strategic Plan said the district wants all students in Tier 1 or Tier 2 schools. It cannot be realistically expected for students from a Tier 2 school to enter a Tier 4 or 5 school and succeed. Additionally, NPS identified 5 winning ingredients for great schools and great schools: excellent teachers, great school leader, mission and vision, safe building with flexible resources, and engaged students and families. Roseville has all 5 of those ingredients and more. The Roseville Avenue students need Roseville, and the Newark Public Schools need Roseville as an example for all the characteristics they hope their schools all possess. Thank you.
Next speaker, Johnny Latner. Is Mr. Latner here? If he comes back in, I'll let him speak. Veronica Lara. Barris Rotis. Felicia Best.
Good evening,
Good evening.
everyone. My name is Felicia Best, 787 South 13th Street. I am a parent at Dr. Yelma Flagg School. Every morning, our flag students at Dr. Yelma Flagg begin the day by reciting the school pledge choices, which says, life is about choices. It's not about where I've been, it's about where I'm trying to go. At Dr. Yelma Flagg, it's about where we are going, and we are going places. As a parent at Dr. Yelma Flagg, I have seen great changes in the years that my children have attended there. Recently, I heard there was a meeting in regards to Roseville Avenue School closing, and their students having to attend our school. I heard about how upset parents were about their children coming to Flagg School. Dr. Yelma Flagg is my second home. My children are safe at Dr. Yelma Flagg School, despite of what parents may think. The fact is that Dr. Yelma Flagg School is on the rise. I understand that parents may be afraid of a change. I know, because I was one of those parents, making new changes for me and my children. But the change was a good one. I have seen how much Dr. Flagg had improved in the years that I have been a parent there. The teachers and staff have always been there to help my children when they need it, and I feel our principal, Ms. Malloy, has made a difference in the school climate. The students are always in uniforms, and there has been less chaos than in the past years. I just want everyone to know that we are making a difference at Dr. Emma Flagg School, and we welcome Roseville Avenue School to our school.
Thank you. Next speaker, Eddie Osborne. Next speaker, Kathleen Greavy.
Kathleen Gravy. I'm the school nurse at the Branch Brook School. My address is 1440 Wood Acres Drive in Mountainside. Maybe my presentation regarding the nurses is a timely one because I don't want you to forget about us. I was very impressed at the beginning of the meeting that the superintendent did recognize the CASA members and did mention that she was open to continue having a dialogue with them. No mention of the school nurses. The school nurses do not have a contract. The NJEA representative and NTA representative have contacted many, many times the department, the legal department, Loretta Sante, to make arrangements to have a meeting, but there have been no negotiations yet this year. I am a school nurse, a certified school nurse. I've been in the Newark Public Schools for 10 years. I'm also the president of the School Nurse Association here. I do want to make sure that you are aware that I would be part of the negotiating team, and it is our goal to negotiate a fair contract for all of the nurses. Also, that we value our positions here at Newark Public Schools, and we hope that you value us also, and hope we can continue, that we also can have a dialogue and have negotiations begin very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One minute. Just wanted to say before you leave, Ms. Greavy and all of you who attended, apologize for the oversight. Your point is taken. I acknowledge your presence as well, and what the bargaining units in Newark as well as the membership should know about me is that I'm always open to dialogue. So apologies for the oversight, and point taken.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent Anderson. Dr. Renee Al-Saraf.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Dr. Renee Al-Saraf. I reside at 127 South Mountain Avenue, and I represent a large group of concerned citizens of Montclair that stand behind Roseville Avenue School passionately. I feel that the parameters that you are using are incorrect when it comes to closing Roseville. First of all, you cite excellence. Just this year, the superintendent stated or gave a report that Roseville was a high-performing, high-growth school. You don't close that type of school. Their scores are not erratic at best. Their scores consistently do as well, if not better, than many other schools. Additionally, enrollment is one of your criteria. Granted, the entire Newark is down by 14% in the last few years. However, the numbers that were stated and were quoted by the superintendent as Roseville having 100 students or 120 students is incorrect. Today, they currently have 165 students. They frequently get many, many students after the October cutoff date for funding, and their numbers consistently are high and strong. Lastly is efficiency. That Roseville is an old building, and I realize that's been addressed. But there are many old buildings that are fine schools here in Newark. Two questions need to be asked, right? The first question is, what does Newark get out of closing Roseville? The second question that needs to be asked, and it is by far the most important, is what do the children of Roseville get out of closing Roseville? It makes no sense to take a child from a tier 2 to a tier 4 or 5 school. I appreciate and agree with strengthening the high schools, but in building any structure, if you do not have a strong foundation, it's not going to work. I actually propose to you that if this is money, I will wholeheartedly hold a fundraiser and get money for you to keep Roseville open. You have my contact information. You also state that change is important. I am all for change as long as you're changing in the right direction. We need more schools like Roseville, not less. This school is priceless. It is wonderful. I also, Superintendent, invite you to come into the school because from what I've understood, you've not been there. Okay, as a doctor, I am not going to treat someone that I have never seen. So you cannot treat a school that you have never seen. These teachers care. These children, this school is their family. They have a family at home, but for those 6.5 hours.
Thank you. Our final speaker of the evening, 10-4 Evans.
Praise the Lord, everybody. My name is 10-4 Evans, P.O. Box 2367, Newark, New Jersey. First of all, I want to say to everybody, I've heard when I came back what's going on to all these schools, but I want to explain to you very thoroughly. And these holidays and all that. The holidays, Black history should be put in school that every day people should know about Black history. Not wait till February, every day. You need to put them back in school. Second of all, when we talking about a holiday, we didn't make that holiday. That was from the federal government and the United States because Dr. Martin Luther King and his leader made the civil right for us to be equal and have a win. That's why you have a holiday with Martin Luther King. Okay? So let's don't get it twisted around when we talk about these holidays. Because everybody got all these religions. But it's not for good for all our children be out of these days because they need to be in school. Okay? Next thing in West Virginia, Belmont, West Virginia. I understand that it's not going to be closed. I want people today, stop giving out rumors. Stop going to saying this and that. If you don't have the fight, wait till you get the fight before you put out something. Because it make the school and this community look like we ain't doing what we're supposed to be doing, okay? I think the principal there at West Virginia, I feel if she do not want those people to have PTA meeting at that school, then I feel that she should be leaving because you need PTA meeting for that school, for those children come together and learn. It's two sides. It's not only the teacher, it's the parents and the community. A lot of community do not get involved. You can have all these meetings all you want. Half of them stay home. And then they turn around and want to talk about something. If you interested in your children, you will come out to these meetings, go to school, and check and see what's going on with the children. Okay? Next thing is, again, I'm going to leave. I'm going to take all much time. As the superintendent, stop putting out rumors that she's leaving. When she get ready to leave, I'm sure everybody will know. You don't know when you got something good. You don't know when you got something bad. Please have a blessed night. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. This concludes the public participation part of our meeting.